driver in, he could snap it outside, and they missed that three-point shoot, and just his overall toughness.
Along with Chandler and Deshaun Stevenson.
Yes.
Sorely missed. But they got, Delonte West is tough. Sean Marion, who's on the basketball right now, defensively, is definitely tough, Dirk. So they've got guys that can fill those roles. It was nice having those three last season, though.
0.4 of a second remaining. Just enough time to get a shot away, and Dallas building up their lead. 17-point advantage. This is their biggest tonight. They go inside and they can't get it, and Thompson scoops it up, and that is the 9th turnover for the Golden State Warriors, who just played last night. And like you said before, they're young. This is what they got to expect. But we are at the end of a long season. One thing that's going to play into Dallas's hands if they get in the playoffs, and all things are pointing to that, they're in a three-way tie for that 6th position right now in the Western Conference, is they'll end the season with a lot of rest in the last week of the regular year. Nowitzki with the miss. Marion flying in. Gladness comes up with it, and he triggers it off to Jenkins.
And that's where you have Andrew Bogut, a guy in the middle who can block shots, rebounds, intimidator, can control the lane area. That's going to solve a lot of problems for Mark Jackson and the Warriors. But right now you start 3 rookies, and it's an evaluation. That's all you can really say right now. These guys are learning the NBA game.
Nowitzki picks up his 2nd personal foul. At the free throw line is Charles Jenkins. The race to the playoffs is right here. Watch the live NBA action with NBA League Pass. Go to NBA.com/League Pass to learn more. Brandon Wright checks back in. He only played a year at North Carolina. He was the ACC Freshman of the Year. He was drafted number 8 by Charlotte. His rights are then traded to Golden State and a stop in New Jersey. Signed in mid-December by this Dallas ball club from Nashville. When he went to a small school in Nashville, and he was the 3-time high school basketball player in the state of Tennessee, and they won 4 consecutive high school championships. And Wright was right at the core of that. Was recruited by Dean Smith. Jenkins picks up a foul, and here comes Bobois. Kidd swinging it to Nowitzki over Lee. Dirk with the miss. Good offensive rebound by Sean Marion.
Marion's done a great job on that offensive glass of keeping balls alive.
Bobois seeing a lot of time. Wright with the fake and a try.
Trust your jump shot if you're Brandon Wright.
Ronnie Bobois coming off a 15.5 rebound performance Tuesday against Sacramento. Saw Mark Cuban moments ago, who elected to revamp the team, taking away some very important parts. David Lee from close range. Good rebound by Kidd. He'll trigger it out for the Mavs. But Tyson Chandler was not re-signed. Barea obviously not with the team any longer. Important players for the team, but Cuban, and they go inside! What a pass and what a slam on the alley-oop. Bobois receiving it from Kidd. Woo! Wow, what a play. What a pass.
This little kid has some jets in those legs. You thought he was just an outside shooter, showing right there.
He's engaged tonight. 9 in the quarter and 11 in the game.
I want to see it on a nightly basis.
So does the coach. Here's Nowitzki putting up a 3. Another offensive rebound by Marion.
Marion is everywhere, I'm telling you.
And Kidd will put up a 3. That's no good. Picked up by Jenkins. Marion, by the way, with 8 rebounds. Inside to Gladness. Lee is there. Jenkins. Marion cleans the ball.
They are just beating the Warriors to the punch here. After that early 20-second timeout, 30 seconds into the game, I think Rick Carlisle has gotten the attention of his team.
10 turnovers so far. Nowitzki pounds that one in. He's got a game-high 13. 12 for Wright, 11 for Bobois, as the bench of Dallas has been terrific, and the Mavs have their biggest lead tonight of 19. We'll get into the Cuban revamping of this.
And you know what? He has every right as an owner. I mean, would it have been nice for them to keep the same championship squad and try to go for a repeat? Absolutely. But financially, I think he's looking at the bigger picture down the road. He can keep some, flexibility cap-wise with, a possibility of a Darren Williams or, You know, if there is a sign and trade at the time of a Dwight Howard, you know, he's trying to keep his options open of improving his team.
Thompson takes it in. Take a look at Mark Cuban, who obviously has been kind of at the center of the storm regarding Lamar Odom. Mavericks have 9 offensive rebounds in this second quarter alone. Warriors have a foul to give as the shot clock down to 8 and the big clock at 19. Kidd with a triple. He, of course, is one of the great all-time three-point shooters as Jason Kidd, number 3 all-time, back of Reggie Miller, of course, Ray Allen. Here is Jenkins to Lee across the lane. David Lee, he's got 10 points.
One great point guard pass to another. Jason Kidd to Mark Jackson. Well, he recently passed an assist last season to move right behind John Stockton.
Yep, number 2 all-time. He's number 2 also, Kidd, in steals. Brian Cardinal, the janitor, comes in. Doug Collins gave him that.
Does he know you guys call him the janitor? Maybe he doesn't like that nickname.
I just prefaced it by saying that Doug Collins called him, gave him the nickname the janitor because he.
You wonder if all guys like nicknames that are given to him. I'm not quite sure. Walking the street, some like 8-year-old walked up to me and said, "Hey, janitor," that he would get into that.
What though? He gives a lot. Nice play. The inbound to Lee. The assist comes from Jenkins. Jenkins has 4 assists and Lee's got 12. Final seconds. Beaubois. Good at the goal. And just that close. Marty Beaubois. The Mavericks. That's the halftime score. A lot of offense from Dallas. They're coming off their best second quarter scoring all season long with 36 points, and the bench powered them that way.
Well, last year they led the league in bench points. This year they're currently third with almost 41 points off the bench. And they're gearing up for a long and successful championship, hopefully, run. And it's going to be led by, they go 10 deep. And Vince Carter was a 25-point-a-night scorer. They're going to need contributions from everyone. And I think the lone bright spot for the Warriors in that first half has been the consummate pro, David Lee. Understanding he's playing with a bunch of young players, he's got to lead by example. And if he can continue to play hard, and hopefully these younger players, the grading curve will go up a little bit, kind of jump on the shoulders of David Lee.
Right now, taking a look at the game summary presented by McDonald's. In fast break points, the Mavs 11-2. They average 12 a game. They're not a good fast break team.
No.
But tonight, they are taking advantage of a lot of turnovers, and they've been incredibly efficient. Dallas has 15 assists and only 3 turnovers. So their efficiency is off the charts. Here is West, who has not played since he picked up that tech in the first quarter with 5:50 left, and he puts in a nice shot right there over Darrell Wright. And you were telling us this morning at breakfast that you think he is a huge key for the Mavs down the road.
Well, when it comes to that toughness factor, because this guy can guard multiple positions, the point guard and shooting guards, but he has an edge about him, and I think that's why they were so successful, the Mavs, last season, because of Deshaun Stevenson. I just thought he gave them that edge defensively.
Nice pass, Kidd. Haywood takes it in after Marion collected his 9th rebound. So a nice sequence right there. Cheryl Miller for the Dallas Mavericks as we see Kidd once again with the assist. And Shirley already has 6 assists in the game. What do you have?
Well, that certainly wasn't the start that Coach Jackson wanted to see. He said, look, I understand that we played 7 games in 12 days. He goes, and fatigue may be an issue, but the great players, the great teams, they overcome these challenges mentally and physically. He does not like the body language of his team right now, guys.
Jeremy Taylor just picked up his 2nd personal.
Well, what did Mark Jackson tell us before the game? We are a no-excuse team. And so what, you're tired? Every team has gone through, back-to-back-to-back, the 4 games in 5 nights, the 7 games in 10 days. And you're the 3rd youngest team in the league, so you should have energy for days.
There's a 3. It's missed by Marion, whose defense has been huge for Dallas. Dallas is a better defensive team this year than last year. Their numbers are better in the significant defensive categories. West was in there fighting for it and picks up his first personal foul. And Chandler is not here, but it's Marion's defense that might kind of be spinning this great defensive season for Dallas.
How baffled did Rick Carlisle look? We were talking about Defensive Player of the Year, that Sean Marion wasn't mentioned, with the Dwight Howards and the LeBron James. This is the guy that guards 1 through 4. Every night he's going to have to guard normally the best offensive player other than a center on the opposing team. He gave us some staggering numbers, about 34% that he's guys
whoever he guards, point guard all the way to power forward, and he guards about everybody on the floor. Centers at times too, because he's so crucial on switches in particular. His kid will find the aforementioned Marion. He says the guys that he guards, as Tyler comes the other way. That was a good pass, and the rookie Jeremy Tyler, who is out of San Diego, did not play college ball. But 34% are the guys that he goes against. That's what they're shooting this season. He should be in heavy consideration for Defensive Player of the Year.
And not only are they shooting 34%, but high turnovers, and they're not getting to the free throw line. Those guys that he's going against. So he's not fouling, he's not putting you on the line, and you're taking less shots. And on top of that, you're shooting a very poor percentage.
Well, right missing right there, and we asked Rick, I said, have you ever had a player like that in the past that played that kind of defense that you can compare these numbers to? And he said, yeah.
On our test.
The current meta world peace, 10 to shoot. Here's Kidd. 82% of Jason Kidd's shots, 82% are three-point tries. Thompson to lead. Boy, nice little resurgence here for Golden State. And they began the game flat. Did Carlisle?
What you are going to bring to this young team for next season?
I think defense. We're going to score. I think we need a paint presence defensively. We're giving up a lot of easy buckets in the paint, and I think I can definitely provide that.
All right, thanks for your time.
No worries. Cheers.
Cheers. I appreciate that, big fella.
Cheers.
No worries.
I love that. Our international audience loves it too. Here comes Kidd finding Marion and into dirt.
So you look at the landscape of the Western Conference. Obviously, OKC with that big front line of Serge Ibaka and Kendrick Perkins. Then you've got the Lakers, Powell, Bynum, 30 rebounds last night against San Antonio. Look at Memphis with the other Gasol and Zach Randolph.
Yep.
Bogut is going to be a perfect fit here in the Western Conference, and I think that was, some of the reasoning behind going out and getting one of the premier centers in the game today.
Terrific passer, understands the game, high basketball IQ, recognizes angles, plays defense. There's a lot to like about his game. Number 1 overall pick, handful of years ago. This is Nowitzki.
But the fans here in the Bay Area, they don't understand that because he's in civilian clothes, where they see Monte Ellis putting up 30 points last night against the New York Knicks. They're seeing the fruits of the labor that used to play here, doing work in the Eastern Conference, and they're wondering, well, what are we going to get out of it? It's coming soon. You've got to be patient, because Andrew Bogut is certainly one of the top 5 centers in the game today.
West puts in a long 2 for the Dallas Mavericks. It'll be so important to see the chemistry develop even more. Kidd and West in the Dallas backcourt.
Yeah, it will. And I think now that everyone is healthy and everyone understands, as Marion comes up with the steal.
Wright will pick up the foul. Sean was flying in. That's the first on Darrell Wright. And there is Sean, who will be 34 in May.
A little bit of wrist there going up. Not all ball. Maybe it was body contact. That was a pretty good timing there by Darrell Wright.
Baseball is back, and Sunday MLB on TBS returns. Watch the Tampa Bay Rays at the Boston Red Sox. It's this Sunday, 1:30 Eastern Time on TBS. But Kidd and West, since January 25th, this is only their 8th game together and only their 2nd start together since late January. West and Kidd.
Yeah, and I think that's been the challenge for Rick Carlisle, is getting guys in sync and on the same page and having that same rhythm, especially when you're in the same backcourt. You know, I was so fortunate when Mark and I played together. You know, I call us peanut butter